What up, it's your boy T-Burn Reaction. So this one I originally was going to try to do for one of the films Friday. It came out recently, though. It's from Miss Mojo. So this is top 20 times the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air tackles serious issues. With the new series, Bel-Air killing it right now, making it put a serious dramatic insight of the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, though. There's been time that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has been more than just comedy. They had taken some serious issues as well too. Between top one, I can definitely say was Will's father, still the Will's father situation as well too. Carlton Will speed situation, the racial profiling episode as well too. The fraternity episodes and many others. So there's probably some other ones I never thought about being serious as well too to rewatching these. So let's see what's some of the top 20 times that Fresh Prince, because I think I did react to the 10 times, but we want to check out the top 20 times so we got more, see maybe some ones that's been added as well too. So even some might got rearranged as well too, ranking wise, but let's get it.
Just thought that because I'm not a size 6, no one would ask me out. Well, not everyone feels like that. I mean, that's just your hang-up, isn't it?
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 times the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air tackled serious issues.
Being black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's what I am. I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles you are, so why are you tripping me up?
For this list, we'll be looking at the most notable moments and/or episodes that dealt with heavy real-life topics. Important plot points will be discussed, so beware of spoilers ahead. Which of these Fresh Prince moments stuck with you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Moving on. Closing a chapter of your life isn't always easy. And sure, we all bawled when Will turned off the lights. After all, for 6 seasons, we'd watched him grow, evolve, and develop under his family's watchful and caring eye.
You're moving out on your own. You're going to finish college in a year. You're becoming a man. Man, I'm damn proud of.
While saying goodbye can be hard, it gives Will and the audience time to reflect on everything that shaped him into the man he became. This version of Will is very different from the kid who first moved to Bel-Air, and it's only because of that growth that he's finally ready to go out on his own. He looks back with nostalgia and forward with the knowledge that he's prepared for whatever life throws his way.
I just don't want to lose you, any of you. You're not going to lose us. You are my son, Will. End of story.
That's something most people face at one point or another. Number 19, grief. Season 4 takes a dark...
So they have some comedy but dark moments right here like this.
...turn for Hillary when her beau, Trevor's big extravagant proposal goes tragically wrong.
I ain't no bungee expert or nothing. But I don't think he's supposed to be slamming into the ground like that.
While the moment itself is initially played for laughs, Hillary genuinely and understandably struggles in the aftermath and blames herself. Will even convinces her to move out of the pool house, where she shared plenty of intimate moments with Trevor.
Countless.
So you can have the place for someplace to stay, because the Department of Jazz was not a good little experience.
Romantic evenings. I bet if those walls could talk, they'd whisper, Trevor.
But we arguably see Hillary's deepest despair after she needlessly starts nitpicking the person that Will sets her up with. This leads her to finally confront her own emotions and find some closure.
Sometimes I feel like we're still engaged. I mean, he died so suddenly, and I never had a chance to say goodbye.
The story arc teaches us to be patient and give ourselves or others all the time and space we need to grieve. Number 18, sex education.
Good one.
When Ashley gets the hots for and starts seeing her classmate Kevin, she turns to her cool older cousin to discuss the birds and the bees.
It's just that I just need a little time to get prepared, all right?
But I thought you knew everything about sex.
Yeah.
Will's caught a little off guard, but steps up. Well, he tries to. Later, he, Carlton, and Hillary debate the pros and cons of giving the youngest Banks child some education.
She won't do anything stupid if she has some good, solid facts.
Wrong, my hot-blooded cousin. If you tell her about sex, she's just gonna run out and do it.
Oh, that's ridiculous, Carlton. We want to expose her to a realistic portrayal of relationships.
Ultimately, the guys visit a clinic to educate themselves before offering up advice, and it turns into an eye-opening experience for them too.
Thank you very much.
No, wait a minute. And here's one about the prevention of pregnancy. Here's one about AIDS. And here's one about dealing with your emotions.
It's also great to see the parents ultimately approach the subject open-mindedly. This episode proves that teaching people about how to safely practice intimacy is incredibly effective. Number 17, Second Chances.
Yep.
In this episode, Will and Philip meet an ex-con named Luther, who must find a job or risk returning to jail. Unfortunately, securing employment is much harder for a felon, and even Uncle Phil, who knows the pitfalls of the legal system, needs a little convincing.
Your Uncle Judge. Hey, Uncle Phil, you could give him a job.
Are you crazy? He's an ex-con.
In fact, it seems like only Will's willing to give the guy a genuine chance. He even initially gives him the benefit of the doubt after his autographed baseball goes missing.
Where's my Willie? Girl, I can't find my Willie!
But when the family comes home to discover they've been robbed, all fingers point to Luther. Only he turns out to be innocent.
He stole my baseball and some other stuff.
I can't do that, sir.
Why not?
Well, we already arrested the perpetrator. Yes, his name is Edward Haskell. Claims to be your law clerk.
It's a poignant lesson in not judging people by their past actions and giving them a fair chance to be rehabilitated and reintegrated into society. Number 16, ageism.
Ageism.
The anxiety that can come with getting older is all too familiar to many.
You are the best-looking 40-year-old woman in this industry.
This is good.
Philip, I am not 40. I will not be 40 until 7:08 tonight. 7:09 if you count my feet.
When Aunt Viv hits the big 4-0, her birthday party pushes her to chase a lifelong dream. However, she soon becomes intimidated after struggling to keep up with the younger attendees of her advanced jazz dance class. It doesn't help when a couple of snooty dancers try to make her feel like she doesn't belong there.
There's an audition here
But she
today.
showed out.
I know.
Auditions usually require dance training. You haven't been to any classes.
Unless you count Lamaze.
But Aunt Viv refuses to give up, holds her ground, and figuratively laces up her dancing shoes. She outdances the competition, proving that age really is just a number, and that it's never too late to chase your dreams, or realize you've cultivated new ones.
For the last 20 years, I have wondered if I could have made it as a dancer. And now I know I could have. 20 years ago.
Number 15, body shaming. Will attends a Lakers game with Dee Dee, the daughter of one of his uncle's clients.
Well, I just moved up.
Listen, Didi, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna be able to take you to that game, right? See, because I got all this stuff piled in my car. It probably wouldn't be enough room for you. I mean, not just you, anybody.
Although they seem like a match, he can't get past her weight. When they go to grab a bite later on, he's more concerned with protecting his rep than defending Dee Dee from the body shamers.
Now, how you trying to play me?
No, I ain't trying to play you,
seen
man.
the honeys that I had up in here.
That's right. I can't figure out how a brother goes from T-bone to rump roast. That's all.
And she hears everything. The pair only reunite later at a dance, where she calls out his shallowness, telling him that she has too much self-respect to waste time on someone who judges her body.
You know, I do go on dates.
Look, Didi, I just thought that...
You just thought that because I'm not a size 6, no one would ask me out. Well, not everyone feels like that. I mean, that's just your hang-up, isn't it?
After an otherwise miserable night, Will learns a valuable lesson.
You really like being with me as long as no one thinks you're with me. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough for me.
Don't place value judgments on other people's appearances,
That
and
was
find
so cute
someone
at the
who
end.
thinks sticking straws up their nose is as funny as you do. Number 14, social justice and giving back. It's widely believed that this episode occurs in the aftermath of the 1992 Los Angeles riots.
Parts of Los Angeles erupted in unrest after a jury acquitted 4
Okay, I never thought about that. I don't know why I didn't think about that, like, taking place a little bit after the riots.
Los Angeles police officers over the videotaped beating of Rodney King, a black motorist.
Philip and Vivian take the family to their old neighborhood to help clean up. Will meets Noah, a resident who calls out those who feign altruism to feel good about themselves, and how quickly they forget about those still trying to rebuild.
I bet you feel pretty good about yourself, don't you? I mean, you come down here, do the right thing, and then you go home patting yourself on the back because you helped out the poor folk.
Meanwhile, Philip realizes that while enjoying his well-earned life of luxury, he's forgotten some of his core values.
You have worked hard for everything you've got. You've been generous and you've contributed to a lot of causes.
It takes more than just writing a check. I've lost myself. I've lost my fire, my passion.
As the family reflects on their history, various members vow to be more committed to rebuilding the neighborhood and giving back to the community. Number 13, Black History. Will advocates for Black history to be taught at Bel Air Academy, but quickly becomes disillusioned when it turns out to be more work than he expected. In fact, Will and Carlton, the only 2 Black students in the class, end up being the least invested.
I expect it to be at least 15 pages, typed double-spaced, with footnotes and the bibliography.
This course was a brilliant idea, Will. She's your mom.
Things come to a head when Aunt Viv confronts Will over his attitude, especially as he was the one who fought for Black history to be taught in the first place. She tells him that the subject has more depth and complexity than he realizes, and that it isn't something to be taken lightly.
Baby, you can read that book. You can wear the t-shirts, you can put up the posters, and you can shout the slogans. But unless you know all the history behind it, you're trivializing the entire struggle.
Her words are important for him and viewers alike to hear.
Now, you started something very good here. But it's up to you, baby, to follow through on it.
The episode concludes with a powerful quote from one of Will's idols, Malcolm X. Number 12, Police brutality. Will and Jazz find themselves in court following a car accident with Hillary and her boyfriend Eric.
Oh, I don't believe this. Your piece of junk just backed into the custom fender of a $35,000 automobile, pal. You're gonna have to turn in a lot of soda cans to pay for that.
While taking the stand, Jazz stands with his arms raised and is reluctant to put them down.
You can put your hands down, Jazz.
No way.
At first, folks were looking at it as a funny thing, but like, then there's a meme say Jazz knew about it all along because of what's been going on with the racial justice nowadays.
Dude's got a gun. Next thing you know, I got 6 warning shots in my back.
It's presented as a comedic moment, but there's a dark and all too real truth behind his fear. According to data collected by the Washington Post, interactions with cops ending in civilian fatalities have increased in recent years.
I'm putting my hands down now.
And a disproportionate number of lives lost belong to Black Americans. Movements like Black Lives Matter are fighting to raise awareness and advocate for change. Still, this is an age-old injustice, and it's heartbreaking to know that not enough has changed. Number 11. Acknowledging privilege. In this eye-opening 2-parter, we see various family members confront their own privilege and develop a greater appreciation for their fortune. Hillary and Carlton eat a big old slice of humble pie after spending Thanksgiving at a shelter.
What kind of a narrow-minded, elitist view of the world do you have? I mean, you come down here once a year, give a guy a couple slices of turkey, and all of a sudden you think you're better than he is?
Carlton's forced to face his prejudices, while Hillary learns that her photo op is someone else's day-to-day reality.
Just because you volunteer a couple more days a year than I do doesn't mean that you're better than me.
I didn't volunteer at all.
Oh, so you're paid to be here.
Honey, I live here.
Meanwhile, Will and Uncle Phil end up in the slammer after an innocent mistake. There, Phil encounters an old college buddy and discovers how drastically different their lives turned out.
My knee was never the same after that game. Lost my scholarship, I had to leave school, and then I got drafted. Ended up with a head full of shrapnel. Couldn't hold a job once I got back.
Needless to say, by the time the family sits down to dinner together, they have a deeper understanding of their privilege. Number 10, your first time.
Well, I love you, Ashley, and I think we should make love.
Together?
Since the Banks house had a few teenagers around, it's not surprising to see scenes where characters are coming to terms with their sexuality. But a season 6 episode where Ashley questions whether she's ready to take another step forward with her love interest hit hardest. Fortunately, her older sister has great advice. Hillary addresses Ashley's feelings and concerns, and
nothing beats the I'm laughing because it's the part when when Will and Carlton over here over comedy start craving. That part cracks me up though. But I like that they show like a lot of serious undertone, even with the comedian sees episodes, comedic moments with some serious undertone, tackling serious situation as well too. I liking this though.
Ultimately empowers her sibling to make the decision that feels right.
But I mean, Hillary, weren't you scared? Of course, everyone is. But I was ready.
Right, even
and only you know if you.
Even Hillary was getting her some good advice as a big sister. You know, she known for being ditzy and funny, but she has some moments of her own too.
Or not.
Not everyone has someone that they feel comfortable talking to about the birds and the bees. So during this conversation, Hillary may have acted as a big sister to many young people watching at home.
I know you're aware of all the issues. And whatever decision you do make, I'm always here for you.
Number 9, sexism. As much as we love this show, we have to admit that Will said a few sexist things.
In the study of human sexuality. So for any of you slimmies who miss out, I'll be more than happy to demonstrate the contents of the book.
There are a few examples of him speaking to women in disrespectful ways, of making assumptions based on gender. Will occasionally had to learn lessons about his bias the hard way. On one occasion, a prank orchestrated by Carlton and Lisa wakes him up.
I thought you were good, but you're not good.
Now, this is interesting how they did this though. I mean, you know, Will's Mac into the Honeys, was a comedy guild and everything, but nowadays a lot of folks, look at things a little more deep these days. So to look back at like how Will, because his catcalling looked at as probably like sexist and all that. It's interesting way, especially for like new generation who like like I said, who look too deep in stuff is now these days. So this was definitely a good little concept right here though. So yeah, and then this episode here definitely a good episode, good one to bring up as well too to help Lisa. But yeah, crazy how different Lisa is on this one than the one on the Bel Air one, but still.
You've caused so much pain to so many women. You're just a dirty dog.
Another story sees a female boxer teach him a lesson about assumptions. He and Carlton also engaged in a battle of the sexes with Hillary.
RP, sad man, crazy about the one of the pale Lena, the box teacup. She like died a couple years ago, so RP to her though. But yeah, that one too.
And Ashley. While there are certainly aspects of these episodes that didn't age gracefully, the main message about confronting sexist behavior is still relevant today.
Well, I am not
That's why.
crazy, okay?
So this was
whole
good.
thing was a sorority prank. They wanted me to teach you a lesson.
In what? Bladder control?
No. Respect for women.
Number 8, interracial marriage.
Everybody, this is Frank. Frank, this is everybody.
Whenever the Smith sisters get together, you just know that you're in for a good time. But their relationship was strained when Janice revealed that she was engaged to a white man. Initially, Viola Smith is adamantly against the union. She even tries to prevent Will from attending the wedding too. The show makes space to fully detail why she's afraid of the union, while also making it clear that Janice is aware of the potential hurdles she may face in society.
Survival, Janice, please don't marry this man.
But Frank and I are aware of everything you just said, and we can handle it, sis.
Thankfully, Will's words help convince Viola to see her little sister wed. The sweet conclusion to this episode gave us hope that Vi would continue to support her sister's love.
Why are you all looking at me? Reverend, go on with the ceremony. We are paying you by the hour.
Number 7, confronting mortality.
Come on, Doc.
This was
I've
a
got
good
a heart like a
episode.
bull.
Don't take it for granted. Although the heart is the strongest muscle in the body, it also has the most responsibility.
After ignoring warnings about his health, Uncle Phil suffers a heart attack. Everyone rushes to aid the fraternal figure, except
so
Carlton. He has trouble seeing his dad in such
This was a good one with Carlton right here. This was a good moment right here with Carlton.
a vulnerable state. To him, Phil is an invincible Superman and can't deal with that image crumbling. Carlton is finally challenged when Will confronts him. Their talk is full of harsh realities about mortality and parental issues.
Look, I don't want to see my father with tubes up his nose, okay?
Carlton, there's gonna come a time when all he has is tubes up his nose.
Not my father!
Everybody's father!
Fortunately, this raw conversation enables Carlton to finally come to terms with the situation. He realizes that it's more important to appreciate the time he has with his father than to avoid him out of fear. This revelation is followed up with a heartfelt conversation between father and son.
Sorry I let you down, son.
You could never let me down, Dad.
I love you.
Number 6,
Yep.
class disparity. In the aftermath of a harsh and humiliating rush week, Will discovers Carlton wasn't accepted into the all-black Phi Beta Gamma fraternity.
Me and Carlton got in? Well, not exactly. I mean, you're cool and all, but Carlton, well, he's not exactly our type.
It soon becomes clear that this is due to the president's prejudice against Carlton's privileged upbringing. Will tries to spare his cousin's feelings. However, Carlton steps in with hard-hitting truth for the fraternity leader.
Being black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's what I am. I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles you are, so why are you tripping me up?
It's a powerful speech about not invalidating someone's identity just because they had a different experience. As the episode closes, Uncle Phil poses a rather poignant question about this intense topic. When the family responds by silently thinking his words over, the audience is encouraged to silently reflect too.
When are we going to stop doing this to each other?
Indeed, yeah.
Number 5,
Oh, the
drunk driving.
Yep.
Look, I'm gonna go take Jackie home. Wait here till I get back. And you're in no condition to drive, mister.
Will's ego gets the better of him when he starts competing for Jackie's attention. After getting completely wasted, he considers driving home before passing out first. He wakes up in a cemetery where he has a life-changing encounter with a group of poker-playing ghosts. The tone really shifts when he talks to Billy, a spirit whose life was cut short by a drunk driver. This talk hits like a punch in the gut.
I was playing ball on the sidewalk. This car jumped the curb, took me out. The driver was drunk.
Its heavy content makes Will finally realize what could have happened if he got behind the wheel while intoxicated. Even though it all turns out to be a tequila-fueled nightmare, we're sure that this lesson will stay with Will and the viewers forever.
You know, I almost got my car and drove home tonight.
Well, let's just be glad you didn't.
Number 4, substance
here we
use. When Will gets overwhelmed, his friend offers him a dangerous and illegal quick fix solution.
I'm into whatever gets the job done. To me, it's just freeze-dried coffee. Just in case.
It's all but forgotten about until Carlton mistakes his cousin's pills for vitamins and ends up in the hospital. Although everything turns out okay, the guilt still weighs heavily on Will. He eventually confesses that he's responsible for Carlton's accident in a tearful and heartbreaking scene.
Those pills that Carlton took, they were from my locker.
What?
Look, Uncle Phil, I was just keeping them in case I needed them.
The episode highlights that irresponsible substance use can also endanger a person's loved ones.
Look, all I know is that somebody real close to me that I love a whole lot could be dead right now.
It was the first episode
It
he
would
showed
be all my
emotion.
fault.
After Will realizes who he could have lost, the episode ends with his family knowing how sorry he is. Number 3,
here we go.
gun ownership.
Let's have the money. Come on, come on. All right, hey, it's cool, dude. Carlton, give him the money.
During one of the darkest episodes,
This was good. This was good though. Like watching, looking back for it at this is good, and you can understand why Carlton was felt the way he felt, man. It was a good episode right here. I mean, I'm glad I just got moved up too, because like you never thought about that. Like you never thought about that until like you go older and then realize what Carlton was going to Carlton mind on this episode.
Of the series, Will gets shot while he and Carlton are getting mugged. An angry, scared, and incredibly vulnerable Carlton decides to take extreme measures to prevent something like that from happening again. A hospitalized Will is horrified when he discovers that his cousin has a gun.
You walking around carrying a gun? What do you think you're gonna do with that? It's for protection. Carlton, well, man, what do you think is that easy to just shoot somebody?
He urges Carlton to see that his snap decision to buy a gun could cause more problems than it would solve. After a tense back and forth, Will convinces his cousin to leave the gun.
I saved your life, man. I saved your life. You owe me! Now give me the gun, Carlton.
The image of the bedridden young man removing the bullets as he breaks down in tears is incredibly sobering. While the issues surrounding gun control are complex, this emotional scene sends a simple message about choosing nonviolence. Number 2, racial profiling. The plot of Mistaken Identity takes a dark turn when Carlton and Will get pulled over by an officer while driving a car that belongs to one of Philip's colleagues. Unfortunately, they end up behind bars. When Phil and Vivian come to their rescue, the officers continue to show more prejudiced behavior.
Sit down. Hey!
Yeah.
You don't talk to my wife like that. Now, wait a minute, buddy. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
It's not until a white man vouches for the young duo that the police finally start to work with the Banks. But Uncle Phil is sure to get in the final word with a strong and impassioned speech about prejudice.
So, officer, don't tell us to wait. And don't tell us to sit down. Just open that damn cell and let those two boys out of there. I'm going to tie this place up with so much litigation that your grandchildren are going to need lawyers.
Even after they're released, Will and Uncle Phil make it clear to Carlton that this encounter is unfortunately not likely to be an isolated incident.
If you were a policeman and you saw a car driving 2 miles an hour, wouldn't you stop it?
I asked myself that question the first time I was stopped.
Before we continue, be sure to
this
subscribe
number
to
one
our
is about
channel and
the
ring the
father
bell
thing,
to get
as
notified
always.
about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, parental abandonment.
Hey, Uncle Phil, that is not cool, man, the way you dissing my father like that.
The hell with your father.
Philip, for God's sake.
He waltzes in here after 15 years?
14.
Oh, excuse me.
Viv and Phil are skeptical when Will's dad comes back into his life suddenly after 14 years. Sadly, their concerns are proven correct when Lou flakes out on his son once again. This leads to one of the most iconic moments of the entire series, and arguably one of Will Smith's best performances.
Yes,
Will, it's all right to be angry.
Like I said, it was interesting because, like I said, if you hear the little cry at the end and more extra crying in the background at the end, it said it was like, I think it would say it was Karen Parson who played Hillary crying, or one of the Always members crying.
Why should I be mad? I'm saying at least he said goodbye this time.
The emotion is so raw that you can't help but get choked up during his heart-wrenching monologue. He's so convincing that many believed he was drawing on his own experiences. While it turns out that this situation didn't happen in the actual Will's life, his acting brought an all-too-real issue to the forefront.
Because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids.
Well, even James was hurt.
How come he don't want me, man?
Good. Yep. Good collection though. Like I said, I like some of the ones I saw for the 10th one, but he had the fact that Miss Mojo added like a lot of ones that was like had some comedic undertone in, but had some comedic moments, but had some serious undertone. Was that as well too, like the Hillary dealing with grief as well too, putting not just one episode, 2 episodes together. The one with Ashley and the sex thing. What was the other one? Or the Luther thing with them hiring Luther. The dance thing with ageism. That's a good one right there. The value shaming with Queen Latifah character, and the social justice thing with too. I like I said, I don't know why I didn't think about this being that was pretty much what happened. It was pretty much the LA riot people taking care of. That's all it was. But some of the ones and the jazz thing, then the Thanksgiving and episode. Oh, excuse me. Even the first time as well too, and this one, the sexism one with bringing up the sex, Will's like catcalling being considered sexism. That was a good little touch right there as well too. But other than that, this was a good little collection of Miss Mojo bringing up the top 20 times that freshman tackle serious issues were on there, and they did it as well too. I mean, it's the thing a lot about that was the thing with a lot of like comedy sitcoms, TV sitcoms in the 80s and 90s though, especially 90s, like that's supposed to be like for comedy. They will bring some serious moments in there as well too. 80s this too. I mean, I'm not sure there's even some ones now will bring some serious issues, but yeah. but definitely the 80s and 90s though, TV shows were definitely good. And the 70s in general though, like at least TV shows are good for comedy, but it will bring up some serious issues going on as well too. Don't have to like become a whole serious show just for that though. Like to have some serious issues tackled as well too. I mean, Family Matters have done it, Full House has done it. Wayne's brother have done it as well too. I mean, whether it's a comedic tone, it'll turn to a serious issue that's tackled. Well, other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.